and welcome to Say It with Roz. Today I want to talk about Kevin Samuels. I ran across his YouTube channel while I was YouTube surfing the other night. I had never checked his channel out before. Had never heard of him. But I really, really like him. And the reason I like him is because for the first time, I have heard from a man's perspective on how they really feel about women, and especially my black sisters. So now I know a lot of people find him rather harsh, you know. As a matter of fact, I saw something out there where someone has a petition going, to try to get him kicked off of, off of YouTube, I guess. But I really think they would do themselves a disservice if they did that. As hard as it is to swallow some of the things that this man says, I totally agree, with what he's saying. And he even gave me some insight on, that maybe my thinking on a couple of things was not, quite accurate. So, but I think what really gets the ladies is some of the ladies, because a lot of women do agree with what he's saying also. But I think what gets some of the ladies is the fact that the truth hurts. And sometimes indeed it does, he's very, very clear on letting the women know that everyone's not going to get a husband, because number one, the men outnumber the women. That's always been the case, though, or I've heard that practically all of my life. Whew, I'm having a hot flash. So, you really have to be prepared for that, that you might not get a husband, Every woman, I believe, every woman, that's honest with herself, wants to have a man, that will marry her, and which is natural, that's a normal thing, and it's what should be. Unfortunately, it doesn't always happen. But what this guy does, Kevin Samuels, is he actually gives women some good pointers on how to better their chances for being one of the women who will eventually, get a husband. And another thing I like about this guy is he's really hitting home when he talks about how a lot of women view, their men, the black, well, let's just say it, the black man, okay? And it's so true, though. I think that somehow, somewhere along the line, women have forgotten the real role of the man, and how to look at a man. And that the man is the head, and that the man knows a lot of things that women don't know. As a matter of fact, he made a good point pointing out that men make the world, go around. I mean, who builds everything? Women don't build things. We don't go out and build houses. Although I'm sure there are some women, carpenters and whatnot, But that's very rare, I would think. As a rule, men are the ones that build things, and they're built to build things, that's their role, to build things, and, all of this, of course, women play a part in some things too, but when you think about it and you look around, men are really the ones that actually build things and keep things running, for the most part. And I can even attest to that in my own personal life, with my husband. When things break around here, we've had all kinds of things, trouble around. If you have a home, you know the deal. Things can go wrong at any time, And my husband has done so many things that I really don't want to do, and couldn't do a lot of them. Some things women can do, I mean, we got a little strength, but we can't compare to a man, My husband has, just for instance, the couple of weeks ago, we have an iron fence, across our driveway. And the fence had gotten, actually the one post of the fence had actually rusted out and was going down, farther than it needed to. So it was pushing that part of the fence here, this way. And you couldn't to make a long story short, we couldn't close the fence anymore. It wouldn't go into the little lock thing. And lo and behold, a couple of days after that, my husband went out there and unhooked undid the fence and took the pole out and put put a piece of wood up in there so he could put it back in the ground and, keep it sturdy. And man, the fence works better now than it did when I originally had the guy, put it in. So I could never have done that. I wouldn't have done that. If I was still single, would have had to call a man to come and fix my fence. Okay? So ladies, we need the men, and they are very important in our lives. And I know so many women I've heard, and I have even said it myself in the past. Where are all the good men? Where are the good men? The thing about it is the good men are out there, But a lot of times women don't want the good man, They want the flashy guy, the cool guy, the bad boy, the one that charms all the ladies, you know. Or we want that guy, you know, with the fancy car, you know, he's looking good, he's dressing good, you know, we want him. But a lot of times, those guys don't want us, you know, they don't want you, you know. You know, the players, they're out there playing, you know, they're not looking, you know, to settle down and, you know, have a family and all of that. They're enjoying going from one silly lady to the next silly lady, you know. So, and of course, every woman thinks she's going to be the one to rein them in, right? You know, but how often does it actually happen? Not very often, you know. And we'll pass up the good man, you know, because we think he doesn't have enough, he doesn't look good enough, or he's boring, you know, and whatnot. But they're good men. They earn a good living, you know. People like plumbers, you know, construction workers, firemen, you know. Of course, people do like, you know, they like the uniform, a lot of ladies. You know, but a lot of ladies are hung up on the college, you know, they want a college-educated man. They want somebody that's, you know, got an executive position or something, or owning their own company, making big bucks, you know. But as Mr. Samuels pointed out, those type of men are looking for certain types of ladies. And a lot of ladies that want these types of men just don't fit their bill, you know. They, you know, might go after these men, and these men might give them some of their time, you know. And, you know, they'll sleep with you, you know. But will they marry you? Probably not. They usually want, you know, those types of men usually want someone that's petite, you know, and very, very attractive, you know, in the face, have nice hair, you know. Most of the time, you know, they're not interested in a woman that wears weaves and wigs and that type of thing, you know. They, I guess that's why a lot of them go for, you know, either black women that are mixed, you know, or they go to another race altogether, you know. But that doesn't mean that we don't have some black women out there, you know, that can rise to whatever occasion they're looking for, you know. But the fact of the matter is that a lot of average women are expecting, you know, to end up with not so average men. And it doesn't happen very often, you know. And even if it does, it may not work out, because if you don't have the kind of skills and, you know, communication, entertainment skills, you know, that these men actually require, you know, in the environment and the, you know, the type of people that they interact with, it won't work out, you know. And, you know, me personally, maybe I'm a little silly, But I just never actually aspired to, go for the big guy. I'll put it like that. I've always just, whoever that I felt comfortable with. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't, hang with someone on that caliber. I believe that I can talk and interact with anyone on any level, from the lowest to the highest. I truly do believe that. But some people, some ladies are just, you're a little ghetto-ish, and but you want these high-class men. It just doesn't work. I mean, a man of that caliber doesn't need a woman, that's cussing and fussing. It's not going to go over well. He won't be able to bring you around, his acquaintances, his friends and family. So, if you do aspire, to land one of those types of men, as Kevin Samuels has recommended, you must do the work, to measure up. You can't just, if you're, I don't want to offend anyone, but we have people on all different levels, as far as, how they act, how they talk. No one's actually better than anyone else, as far as our humanity, we're not. But like it or not, we have social classes, sort of speaking, and some things are just not acceptable on certain levels, so you won't fit in, and I just think some women, they call it settling, but I think you should just forget about your long list of a man's got to do this. He's got to have this. He's got to do this. No one is ever going to fit your whole list of requirements. It's just not going to happen. It's not. Now, I can say that maybe you should know things that you just won't accept, but they should be things that, or shouldn't be things like, he's got to be 6 feet tall, his skin has to be this color. He has to have a certain grade of hair. He's got to have a certain physique. He's got to have this type of salary, Hey, you might miss the best thing that could ever happen to you by looking at your little checklist, Sometimes the package does not reflect what is inside. okay? I can tell you. Now, me and my husband, we knew each other back in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. And, but we broke up because I wanted to get married at that time, but he did not. And he did not have any children, but I had my son, which is my only child, still, because I couldn't have any more children, you know. And so he wanted to have children. So we split up, and I eventually left that area, left the town, and came out here, you know, to Texas. And lo and behold, 30 years later, we ran into each other again, and for some reason, it just felt like it was time. I don't know how I knew, but for some reason, I just knew that he was going to be the man that I married, you know. And we did get married, you know. He had, you know, a few children, but he had never gotten married. Now, he had children, but he had never gotten married. He never married, you know, the women that had the children for him. I don't really know why, you know. I have not really gotten into a deep conversation with him about that. But he does love his children, and you know, I believe he's done okay by them. He just didn't marry their mothers. So, and there was more than one mother. But we got married, you know. And actually we ran into each other in like June, I believe. And then we were married by October. So, and now I can tell you, my husband was nowhere near a millionaire. As a matter of fact, he had very little, you know. And a lot of women would have never, ever married my husband, you know, where he was when I married him. But I can tell you, and I'm not saying it just because he's my husband now, but I had no idea that my husband was so talented and had so many skills, you know, and could fix almost anything that broke, you know. And he's a musician. I had no idea. I know that back in the day when we were dating, I don't even remember him telling me he probably did, you know, because he tells you everything. So I'm sure he told me that he was in, you know, the band, you know, he had gotten a scholarship, you know, for college, you know, a musical scholarship. But I didn't remember any of that. I wasn't thinking about any of that when I, you know, accepted his hand in marriage. But my husband is a musician. He, you know, he he's a very smart man, you know. And it just goes to show you that you really, I say, get with someone that's suitable for you. That if it feels right, you know, don't even think about what the person has. Especially if you're young. You know, we weren't young. I'm no young chicken. I will have been married. We'll be married 8 years in a few days. And I got married. I was 60, well, a couple of months away from being 63 years old. And this is my third marriage. Yes, my third marriage. But it is the best marriage that I have had. I don't foresee anything, you know, breaking me and my husband up other than death, you know. And so it turned out good, you know. And nothing's perfect now. I'm not saying we had you know, in the beginning, it was a little bit rough there now. Because I had not been married I had been single probably about 15 years or so. And my husband had never been married, you know. So we've got, you know, we both, you know, kind of, you know, used to doing things the way we do things, you know. And we had to do a little adjusting, you know, to each other. And, you know, and we had some fights too. Not physical, but we had some fights. Yes, we did, you know. But the good thing is we got through that. And I truly believe that my husband loves me, and I know that I love him. So don't get hung up on what a person has, you know, and because you never know what's gonna come out, you know, later. Now, you gotta be wise, though, you know. Now, you can't go out and marry. Now, if you go out and you marry, you know, somebody that's hooked on drugs or something like that, you know, that's an addict or something, that's not going to be good. You shouldn't do that, you know, or, you know, you shouldn't, you know, you got to have some standards, you know, just like these men have standards. You have to have standards too. But now the only thing is, and I like the way Kevin Samuels brings this out, you know, you have to have realistic standards, you know. I mean, you know, everybody can't go over to, you know, to England and marry a prince. You know what I mean? So be realistic in your goals. And really look at the men that you're interacting with. And don't discount anyone. You know, if a man is working, you know, he has a good personality, you know, and he treats you well, what are you looking for? You're looking for a status thing, you know? I mean, are you looking for someone that's going to first marry you? Okay, they're not just going to take you to bed and throw you out, you know, and bring in the next one, you know. You want someone that's going to marry you. You want someone that is going to provide for you as best as they can. Now, in today's world, it's rare to find, a household where only the man works and he can take care of everything and give, his family a decent living. Things are so expensive in this world today. You just can't expect a man, that's, unless he's making $2,000 or $3,000 a year, to $200,000 or $300,000 a year, he won't be able to do it. You will have to work in some capacity, to help make things work out, so both of you will have a very good living. There's nothing wrong with working. I never had a problem with working. I never even expected to stay home, I guess. I just never minded working. I enjoyed working, in my first marriage, I was pretty much the only one that did work. My husband, well, I won't go into that, but, it's a good thing, if you can get away with working part-time, that's good, so you can spend, time taking care of your home, and your husband, and if you have children. And a lot of jobs today, can be done from home. So that's an option also, working from home. And then if you're young, maybe you'll just have to work, in those beginning years, and later maybe you won't have to work. Maybe your husband, has his salary has moved up and it's enough, to take care of the family by himself. But don't ever get bent out of shape if you have to work. It might be a good thing anyway, because you never know what might happen. Now, also, when you get married, unless there's some, not so good circumstances that you just can't deal with, but really and truly, the only biblical reason for getting a divorce is adultery, so, but, I know people get divorces for all kinds of reasons, but when you marry someone, you have to be prepared for the better or the worst, Now, unless someone just keeps cheating on you, all the time, and, that's a hurtful thing. You might not be able to get past that, especially if they keep doing it, so you end up divorcing that person. But what I'm talking about here is, what if your spouse got sick, and couldn't work anymore? Well, I mean, you have to step up, the wife has to step up and fill in as best she can, so you have to be prepared to do that. But I know some women have walked out on their husbands, even when they're ill. Men have done the same thing, A woman or a man gets sick and can't help themselves, and they feel like they didn't bargain for all of that. But the fact is you did, because you said for better or for worse. Don't leave someone because they're sick. You know, that's just not a thing to do. You know, I think you'll have to answer for that, you know. But, so, you know, you have to be prepared to step up if you have to, you know. But hopefully that won't happen to too many people. But, you know, I just, I would really recommend that every woman, no matter what color she is, I know there are a lot of black women that call in to the show. I believe now Kevin Samuels is on, I believe, Instagram, and he mentioned one other platform that I can't remember what it is. You know, and from what I understand, just from listening to him talk on YouTube, he interacts with, you know, women and men of all races. So I would really recommend that you subscribe to his channel, and you know, and really keep an open mind. You know, don't get mad at the things that he's saying. Just listen to them and think about them, and then come to a determination, you know. Because I truly believe that most, if not all, of what he says is right on the money, okay? You know, I mean, he talks about all kinds of things, you know, that, you know, mostly he talks about the expectations of women, what they expect, you know, and versus what they should rightfully be expecting, you know. Because and I know a lot of women don't like him because he talks about, you know, women being overweight, which too many of my, actually, it's not even a racial thing, a race thing, you know. It's not black or white or anything, because I see a lot of overweight white women also, you know. But I think Americans are just too fat anyways, you know. We just eat. And our portions are way too big, you know. The restaurants pile your plates up full of food, you know, and we just sit there and we eat it all, you know. And it's not good. We don't need all of that food. And I have gained weight. Well, the pandemic is here, so I think everyone has probably gained a pound or two. But I was a little overweight anyways, you know, before that. And I'm trying to slim down a bit, you know, because I don't want to get fat. And I don't like it when my clothes don't fit right, or, you know, my stomach is sticking out. I never had a big stomach. And, you know, I know I'm getting older, though. The older you get, you know, the more things, you know, sag and bulge, you know. So that's why, you know, young ladies, listen to Kevin, because he's really trying to help the younger woman get what she wants before it's too late. You know, you're in your prime, you're in your best, you know, state to be swooped up and loved by someone, you know, when you're young, you know, you're beautiful, your skin is smooth, you know, you can have babies, you know. I mean, that's when you're best for a man, you know what I'm saying? And he's trying to tell these ladies, what they need to do, to go ahead and get themselves a husband, and so they can have a better life, and later on they won't have to be fending for themselves, because all of the years that I was single, I had to fend for myself. I didn't, who you gonna call? So, but the good thing is with me, I will say, I always had a good job, I never had a problem getting a good job. And I worked for a company, oil company. I started out at a low grade job, but by the time I retired and left that job, I had worked my way up into the IT department, and I was a business analyst and application developer. I taught myself how to program. I did wonderful things for that company because I loved it. Boy, once I got a taste of that programming, it was right up my alley and nobody could stop me. I just loved it. I would stay up all night writing code, but it's a lonely job, doing that type of job. But I loved it, and I was single during that time. So I could do it, And I'm saying all of that to say that at the end of the day, when I retired, I had a decent pension. Wasn't a millionaire, but I had a decent pension, and a few bucks, in my 401k. And later, I collected my, I get my Social Security. So I can really support myself, if I needed to, I could support myself, and that's a good thing, though, because, I didn't know whether I was going to get married again or not. I wanted to. I was never ashamed to say that I wanted to get married. I know some women, I don't need a man. I ain't studying about no man. I don't want a man. I can take care of myself. What I need a man for, blah, 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 blah. I never had that attitude, because I did want to be married, I didn't really, although I didn't spend a lot of time moping about it or anything, I'm pretty much a loner anyway, and so it wasn't like I hated living by myself or couldn't live by myself. But I wanted a husband. I wanted someone to, make some love to, and everything, and go places with, pretty much before I got married again, I did everything pretty much by myself. I had my favorite little buffet restaurant that I enjoyed going to. I would go by myself and sit at a table and eat by myself. I traveled by myself. I did road trips by myself, so it wasn't like I was just sitting around moping, and feeling sorry for myself. But don't ever be ashamed to say that you want a husband, because you might get one, But I was prepared, if I had to, I was prepared to spend the rest of my days alone, which wasn't my preference. But what are you going to do, if there are no suitors? And I didn't go out a lot. Like I said, I'm a loner. I went to work, I came home, I went to the grocery store, I went to church. I didn't really mingle, with anyone. And so I tried the online dating thing, and I met a guy that I really liked, and we had some good times together, but unfortunately he passed away, from cancer. And, and then not, maybe 2 or 3 years after that is when my husband and I, got back together, hooked up again. And we ended up getting married, So, but my whole reason for this little talk is to encourage the ladies, especially the young ladies between, let's see, what does he say? Is it between 20 or between 20 and 30? I believe it's between 20 and 30. He gives some excellent advice, on getting a husband, or I won't even say, let me just change that, not getting a husband, of preparing yourself for a husband, because you really have to know what it means to be a wife, to some extent, before you actually become a wife. What are the men, especially the men that you think you want, what are they looking for in a wife? That is the key. See, us women, we have gotten into the habit of just looking at what we want from a man, what we want to see in a man, but I would recommend that when you're making your little list of things you want a man to have and do, make a list of the things that you need to do and have in order to be a wife to that man that you want. That is key information. That is key information. What does the man that you want in a wife? Check Kevin Samuels out. I guarantee you won't. If you open your ears and open your mind, you won't regret it. I guarantee it. That's all I'm going to say on that. And that's why, I like Kevin Samuels, because he doesn't sugarcoat the facts. He doesn't sugarcoat it. I imagine if I was single and still looking at things in a certain way, I might go to at some of the things, that he says. But I'm telling you, I know in my heart of hearts that he is telling the truth. So check him out. Kevin Samuels on YouTube. He's on Instagram too, although I don't fool around with Instagram. But he's on YouTube, and if you do Instagram, you can find him out there too. So check him out. So until next time, over and out.